Hello, welcome to S&J Engines. Today we'd like to introduce you to our SimTest machine. This machine ensures that the integrity of our manufacturing process has been maintained. The engines that we sell, and each and every engine that we do sell, is run through this machine. It ensures that it meets or exceeds the OEM specifications. Bob is our SimTest machine operator, and if the machine says there's something wrong with the engine, Bob says the engine doesn't ship. This is a 262 V6 GM product, and what Bob's doing right now is he's ensuring that all the threads in all the bolt holes have been tapped. The threads have good integrity, and that there are no broken off bolts left in any of the threads. We tap every bolt hole in the heads and the block. If the threads are bad, we will install a time set to replace those threads. Now the next thing that Bob will do is he will install a basic drive on the front of the crank, and that will hook up to the machine. The machine has a 10 horsepower engine on it, and it will spin the engine to simulate a hot running engine. It preheats the oil to 150 degrees. That simulates a hot running engine. What he's doing here is the engine has to be set on a stand, and it has to be anchored so it won't bounce around. The one thing that we check over and over and over is for cracks. And we have a special machine during the manufacturing process that blue lights for cracks. However, there's always a possibility that the cylinder head gaskets didn't seal once we assemble it completely, or we missed an internal crack. What he's doing now is he is vacuum checking the block. And if it pulls vacuum, then the gaskets are sealed and there are no internal cracks. And he will check both sides of the engine. It pulled vacuum. How much vacuum did it pull? 20 inches. It pulled 20 inches of vacuum, which means it's good. So it pulled vacuum on both sides. We have no internal leaks, no internal cracks. Now he'll hook up the oil. The oil from the machine delivers the oil to the engine. He'll turn the machine on, and it will start to rotate. And the noise you're hearing is because we don't have any spark plugs installed. So the compression is going out where the spark plug would normally be. We'll rotate that engine and we will make sure that oil is being delivered. Of course, the oil running off the bottom back into the machine would normally be being delivered to the oil pan and then picked up by the oil pump and then re-delivered again. But the machine delivers it in a constant flow. We have gauges up on top. They tell us what the RPMs are. They tell us what the oil flow is, and they tell us what the oil pressure is, and it also tells us the torque. The RPMs are self-explanatory. The oil pressure, we all know what that is, and the oil flow is how much flow we're getting through the bearing. The oil flow is actually more important than the oil pressure. We need oil flow, shows how much oil we're actually getting through the bearings, so we get the proper cushion of oil between the bearings and the crankshaft. Bob will also recheck the torque on the cylinder heads, and when we're done, we'll check the torque on the connecting rods and the main bearings to make sure that when it was assembled, we didn't forget to torque either the rods, the mains, or the head bolts. This is a blue light, and what that blue light does is we have a dye in the oil, and that dye will shine blue if we have a leak anywhere. This means that light there will the oil will just be a bright blue, and we'll know that we have an oil galley leak or a crack that's leaking oil. He picked that up. Obviously, he didn't find any. It's done. He also puts a marker on each push rod. And the reason he does that is the push rods have to spin. If the push rod's spinning, that means that the lifters that are right against the camshaft are spinning. That means that we have the correct taper on the cam. Lifters have to spin, push rods have to spin. That's why he marks the push rods, and you can watch that mark rotating as the engine's running. And eventually, it hasn't happened yet, but slowly but surely, the push rods will start to deliver oil up through them, and then the rockers will get oil. That's one thing we have to check. Are the rock arms actually getting oil? We also check the timing. We mark the timing gears, crank and cam gear, with a yellow marker. That's the way it's easy for us to make sure that while we're running that the assemblers have the timing is correct. We don't have to look for the little dots that come on the gears. We mark them with yellow. Bob is now making a compression check. He makes a compression check on each cylinder. The compression on this machine will read about 10 pounds higher than it will when it's actually assembled because we don't have an intake manifold on it. The intake manifold restricts the amount of air that's allowed to go into the intake. Where here we don't have it, and they can suck more. So if we have a compression reading of 180, you'll get the engine will actually have a compression reading of 170 once it's installed. You're allowed 15% difference from cylinder to cylinder. We hold it at 10. Also, fluctuation is very important. If we had a bearing that was incorrect size just on one shell, as the machine spins, that one shell would give us an oil fluctuation back and forth, and that way Bob would know that we have a problem with one of the rod bearings. It checks the torque. If it takes too much amperage to spin this engine over, we know we have something too tight. There's no clatter, 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 so we know that the lifters are pumping. The oil is coming through the push rods, so we know that all the push rods are going to oil each and every rocker. The visual checks are every bit as important as what the machine tells us electronically. Now he'll check it at 600 RPM, and he'll check it at 300 RPM. When he stops the machine, he makes sure he stops it with the timing marks lined up, so when you receive the engine, one quick glance you'll know that the cam and the crank gears are in time. Now he picks it up. The oil's all draining out. And we have to put a diaper on it after we get done here. So a diaper is to pick up the excessive oil that will continually to bleed off. From here, he will check the rods and the mains to make sure that they've been torqued. All this has already been checked before, so we're checking it again. And we put a diaper on it, and then we sack it and seal it so that we know no dirt, no contamination whatsoever will get into this unit before it's shipped.
Once the process is complete, the engine is ready to ship. For more webisodes, check us out online at www.snjengines.com.